everybody, Sandy here at Sandy's Back Porch. June, if you did not know, June is Perennial Gardening Month. So what I wanted to do today in this video is I ran through the garden center and I looked at the benches of perennials and I picked out some things that are looking really awesome, things that do well, that we love, and that the birds, the hummingbirds, the bees, and the butterflies are going to love too, so that everybody in your garden is happy. You're going to love looking at them, and they're going to love coming to your garden to taste all the different flavors that you have. So these are some things that are favorites that do well, that everybody can do. Leucanthemum, it's a daisy. This is called goldfinch, such a cute name. A yellow bloom too. It's not going to go real tall, 18 to 24 inches. Absolutely love the beautiful blooms. They also come in white. You'll notice on leucanthemums though that after about 4 years maybe, you'll start to get some browning in the center. Easy to remove that, just divide them, lift them and divide them and get rid of that brown spot. But they reward you with many beautiful blooms. A Becky is another standard one, that's the white one. So that's a real pretty one in your garden. Salvia is an earlier bloomer. This is by Proven Winners, and this is Indigo Girl. This one has had color on it since the day it came in the door. Absolutely love it. It's even got new ones coming on now. Such a bright, beautiful salvia. When these finish their first flush, which still looks like they haven't finished, you can actually go down pretty deep and deadhead them if you choose to do it like that. Or you can also just shear it off down to this bottom foliage and cut all those stalks off, and then it's going to shoot out more color later on in the season. So salvias are very popular here in the Midwest. Another one that's just getting ready to bloom is this, you would think I got the tag. I need the tag. Okay, this is a Russian sage by Proven Winner. I need to go get the tag on that and tell you which one it is. So we'll work on that in a little bit. Heliopsis this is probably one of the longest blooming perennials that I have seen at the garden center. This is Tuscan Sun, and it's going to go 24 to 36, so it's a little bit taller, back of the border kind of plant, but blooms its heart out for you. Phlox, everybody's familiar with phlox. This is the tall garden phlox, and this one is Opening Neck Ultra Pink. These tend to open up a little bit earlier than some of the other older varieties of phlox. Very gorgeous color. This one is Garden Girls out of the Cover Girl series. Really pretty bright pink. And think about that, it's going to bring the butterflies and the bees to your garden because they're going to see that bright color. Another phlox that is so awesome is the Candy Store Phlox series. And this is the grape variety, the grape lollipop. And this is so gorgeous. If you can see how many blooms are on this plant, it's going to be stunning in your yard. Another good one. Another been around for quite some time, but the butterflies absolutely love it, is a gay feather. It's called Cobalt. This is Liatris, called Cobalt, and the butterflies absolutely love this, and these are great in a cut flower garden too. So everybody wins on that. This is one of my early spring bloomer favorites. I have this in my yard called Storm Cloud Amsonia, and it's an improved variety of Amsonia. It's going to get a periwinkle blue flower on this in end of April-ish, and it is just going to be covered with these dainty blue flowers on it. I always call it a perennial that thinks it wants to be a shrub, because it really does look like a shrub to me later on. Let's talk about dianthus. This is a dianthus that we grew, American Pie, and it's just starting to bloom now, a little bit later on, and it has that pink with the dark pink center. But I love this gray spiky foliage. I think that looks pretty awesome, pretty different. This is another dianthus, and it's by Proven Winners, and it's Paint the Town Fuchsia. This thing has bloomed since it came in the door, and we haven't deadheaded it at all. But if you so choose to deadhead it, make it look prettier, you can do that, but it's still going to have blooms on it. It's just like this carpet, very low growing. Another one that is so very popular is Nepeta, and this is Cat's Pajamas. They also have Kitten around too, and it's a Proven Winner. Now you can look at it and see that it's past its first flush. So what I would do is I would cut all of this back, and then it's going to send out more. Not quite as much as the first flush, The first flush is just gorgeous, but it is still going to be blooming, and we still find bees and butterflies on this Nepeta. So that's Cat's Pajamas. Let's talk about Bee Balm, and this is the variety, the BU series. B is in BEEU series. This is the first time I've seen one in this series bloom. I think they look like little jesters. I've never seen a bee balm bloom like that before, but the flowers are so much more on top than they are on the bottom. Bee balms like to get a little bit more water, so be mindful of that. Have it in an area, it's just gonna do better for you if you get a little bit more water. The older varieties did get powdery mildew. The newer varieties, they're trying to breed that out of them, but if you like, putting a preventative fungicide on that is always a good idea. But powdery mildew doesn't kill the plant. It just doesn't look as good, but the blooms still look fantastic. Some things, Coreopsis. You know, Coreopsis has been around for a long time. Nice bright colors. And this is a newer recent introduction, Little Bang Daybreak. That's been out for a couple of years. And then this one is the Uptick Yellow and Red. This is more of a lemon yellow, and I love it with the little red center. So how to keep these looking good is, once they've not put out any more blooms, that's when you want to just prune all this top off, and then it's going to shoot out some more sporadic blooms to it. Kind of hard to deadhead those. Let's talk about things for your shade garden. Right now we have the astilbes blooming, and this is Delft Lace. This is one I have in my own garden, and I love it because the foliage comes out, the new foliage comes out, it's a little bit burgundy, and then it has a nice pink bloom to it, which that shows off against with the darker foliage to it. Astilbes do like water. I planted mine where when I'm watering my containers, I can also give these a little bit extra water. This is the Vision series. Vision is a very, very popular series, and this is the purple, and you can see how pretty these gorgeous, gorgeous blooms are, especially in the shade. Part sun to shade. And other items for your shade garden are heuchera, which you can never ever have enough heuchera. This is silver gumdrop, and it's going to have a red flower on it. This is a good bloomer. It blooms for a very long time. This is Mahogany Monster, and of course it is a mahogany color, and it's supposed to be very large. So haven't seen that one in the landscape, but I know I have to get that one and get it somewhere in my garden. Let's talk about coneflowers. A plethora of colors of coneflowers, but that's because they do so well. So this is Sombrero, and this is Hot Coral. Sombrero series has done exceptionally well in all of the different trial gardens that it goes into. So it has done, it is a great one for your garden. Salsa Red, so hard to come by sometimes, really pretty, but look at the bloom count on this plant. A lot of blooms. This one is a nice yellow one called Ember Sparks. This is from Monrovia, and it has a lemony yellow color to it, but if you look at it, the center is green. So different than some of the other coneflowers. Another one from Proven Winners, from Monrovia, is in the Evolution Yellow. This is a little bit more gold yellow, and the center is so pretty, but it's some of that green in that center also. This one is the Double Scoop Mandarin. What you're going to see on that is you're going to have all this fluff right up here at the top. So the head is a little bit bigger on that, but it's got a lot of color that stands up, and then the petals go down. So pretty for your garden and your cut flowers too. This is one that's been out for a little bit, but it is just does extremely well, and he has gotten a little bit too big for the pot. But this is called Hot Papaya, and if you can see those blooms, so amazing. Hot Papaya. So those are the coneflowers. I want to talk about daylilies, because kind of coneflowers and daylilies, you know, it's that summer garden kind of feel. And this is Orange Smoothie, and you can see why it's called Orange Smoothie. This is a daylily. These blooms last for 1 day. So how you deadhead these, because that's always a question that I want to keep my daylilies looking good. Once all of the little blooms on here are done, you go down here to the very base and you snip that out. You're going to need your scissors, and you snip that stalk out so you don't have this big ugly stalk there when it's all finished blooming. This one is Going Bananas, and this is a yellow, a lemon yellow. And these are rebloomers. So I like in my yard, I like them to be reblooming. If they're not reblooming, that means they're gonna bloom for about 3 weeks, putting on some new flowers, new flowers, new flowers. But then after that, they're finished. So the rebloomers don't have as big of a first show, but you're gonna have blooms until about mid-September on them. Then this is another good one called Funny Valentine, and it is a dark red. Real pretty foliage too to complement if you put more than one in there. Daylilies can, after a few years, they can start to not bloom as much. They do get pot bound, so you want to divide them every 4 or 5 years, and that really does help them not to get so, not pot bound, but you get this big clump and it just doesn't want to bloom. So you want to divide those every few years. But a long-lived perennial, a very long-lived perennial. For the butterflies, this is the Asclepias tuberosa, and it's the bright orange colored one. And this perennial is not as quite long-lived as some other perennials unless it's really happy, hot and dry. You know, like by your mailbox that's by the street, or an area that just is hot and dry. You don't have anything else around it that you're watering. The other Asclepias, this is Incarnata, which is the swamp milkweed. This one, actually, the butterflies do prefer this one. They come to this one first over the orange one, but we all love that orange color. But this one is like a light pink color, and it can handle our clay soil that tends to be a little bit more moist and damp. So so this is an easy one to do. You'll have a lot of the butterflies come into your garden for this one. One of the natives that we do carry is this Baronia butterfly narrowleaf. It's the ironwood, and it's a late season bloomer, which is so important because I love having something that it's an expectation for later in the season, and it's going to get a nice pink fuchsia type bloom atop this airy foliage. So that's another one. It does get a little taller, 30 to 36 inches tall. So those are just some of the things that are blooming. We have a ton of daylilies other than these. We have a ton of phlox. We have a ton of monarda. I'm going to be sending out an email that tells you all the varieties of these items that we have, so be looking for that in your email. But I do want to mention, don't ever plant anything. Don't ever plant any perennials in your garden. Don't ever plant anything, herbs to trees, without using this Biotone Starter Plus. It has mycorrhizae in it, and the mycorrhizae attaches to the root system, and it breaks apart those root hairs, so the root hairs then take in more fertilizer and more water. This mycorrhizae is going to be in your system, in your ground. When you put it in there, it's going to be in there forever. So it's going to help that plant for a very long time. So you definitely recommend Biotone. We plant pansies at our street, and we've been planting them for many years now. The last 2 years we planted with this Biotone in each one, and we haven't lost a pansy in the last 2 years. Kind of crazy, but it works really well. So that's our summer lineup. Be looking for the email, and thanks for watching our video. See you soon.